Bill Cannageezer,
Yes.
Ron Reiser,
Here.
Pam Buffington,
Here.
Roy Jackson,
Here.
Sherry Alexander, Chris Graves,
Here.
Chris Shelby, or Keith Shelby, sorry.
Here. Item number 2, petitions from the audience. Seeing none. Item number 3, administer oath of office to Sherry Alexander, seat number 5, term expiring 7/31/26, and Roy Jackson, seat number 4, term expiring 7/31/26. Mayor, are you gonna
Well, I don't have the verbiage for that.
do the oath of office?
Can you just say, "I do"? Is that how that works?
We'll do it next meeting.
I promise to faithfully fulfill the duties of Park Board member, so help me God.
That's gotta be a new one. I think we ought to endorse
I
that.
think we used to use, I promise to do my duty to God and country and obey the law of the pack. That was Cub Scouts.
I can't remember that now, thank you.
To do my best, to do my duty.
Yes,
To God my
yes,
country.
that's it.
That too.
So we need to table item number 3?
Table, because we got another one like that too.
Okay.
Item number 4, discuss possibly approve the minutes of the May 22nd, 2023 regular meeting. I haven't seen those.
I made it.
Do you have a copy of the minutes from last meeting?
I'm so sorry, I don't have those. I have them, I can
Okay,
print them quickly.
yeah, we'll pass on that.
Good morning.
You gonna table that one too, Bill?
We'll table that till next month.
So 3 and 4 is tabled.
Item number 5, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding budgeting excess golf funds from fiscal year 2022-23 for the purpose of cart paths and other capital improvements. You've got the list there with you. Dennis?
So, it's time to do our budget. We gotta get some numbers to the mayor so he can get all that plugged in. And, the golf course, has been doing very good. It's been really busy, so the numbers that I got the other day, we have $250,000 in our bank account. That's the most we've had in there in a long time. So, we had an excess of this year of 75,000, and that includes spending 55,000 in capital improvements that we did this year, which was some new pump motors, a greens roller, and we demolished the old house. So we spent all that money. So with that in mind, we need to be able to figure out what we want to do with the 250,000, and so. We've had our capital improvement list. I took that off of what we did in 2021. So, of course, not much has changed other than we did, demolish the house is done and the greens roller's done. And when you look at things out there from my standpoint, the biggest thing that we need is, we need a pickup truck, we need cart paths, and we need bridges. And, then we need to replace the house. That's kind of the top 4 big things. But
What about the fence in front?
I haven't had no issues there, so, I like it, it would look good and be nice, but as far as putting any money into it right now, I think the cart paths are more important.
I was gonna say, I've been out there the last couple of weeks and I've noticed that the number 2 bridge and 7 are really important.
Yeah,
First.
yeah, we've gotta get,
Those are probably the most critical, in my opinion.
and so we need to spend, a little bit of money probably from engineering. I talked to our previous engineer, which he's no longer with me, I just found that out the other day. And, he said he had some plans that his company could provide us for like $1,700 is what his rough estimate was to redo some of those bridges. And so we're trying to come up with some different ways to make that happen, but we need a set of plans first. I've talked to, Riley Reed out at the VOTEC. He'd be willing to have his team build them. And even set them, you know, I don't know how many, but, you know, so that's a possibility there. Let's buy the materials and do it that way, so, but we need a set of plans, to go by first, so. That's kinda where we're at on the bridges, but, I know,
Would you say the cost, estimated cost you think on the bridges is how much, maybe?
I think $1,700, is what he said to get some plans. I'd probably say maybe closer to $2,000, but
That's not terribly significant then.
just to
so.
get the plans. Then you gotta buy, you know, once you get the plans, then you can figure materials and cost and all that.
So Dennis, this list that you sent us with the truck and the cart paths and the bridges and replacing the house, is this in order of priority for you?
No, it's not in, I mean, we kinda had it in an order of priority, so I mean, it pretty well still is, but, like,
You
like
don't-
I
You would
think
put the bridges as number 3?
No, bridge replacement is 1B up there. We had it, you know, cause it needs to all be done. Cart paths need to be done and the bridges need to be done,
Yeah,
you know,
but the
so.
bridges are a safety risk,
Yeah,
so I would think they would take priority.
yeah, so, you know, and that's what we wanna figure out is what y'all wanna do with what money we have to spend. I'd like to keep $100,000 in the account just for float through the winter time. You know, I don't like to run the account down way low, but we're gonna do whatever y'all decide to do. And,
How's your year looking so far?
our year's already, you know, this is in July, we're 2/3 of the way through it, and we're probably gonna do just maybe a little bit better than we did last July, which is really good. I thought last July was outstanding. We did 76,000, so I'm at 69,000 today, so we're looking like we have a decent weekend.
And you've had quite a bit of rain too throughout the month.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still coming out pretty good.
Yeah, we've had a few rain days, yeah, we got almost completely rained out on Friday, but we had the night tournament that night, so that helped the Lions night tournament, so.
On the bridges, do you think they have to be replaced? Is there some repair that could be done to make them safe? Because the safety's the issue. Or do you have enough information to know that yet?
You know, when you look at, like the bridge on 2, it can just have some concrete. That's not too big of an expense for the bridge on 2. But when you look at the bridge on 7, 8, I mean, those will have to be replaced. I don't think there's a way to make them, because they're really narrow.
Yeah,
They're really narrow, and
right, okay.
so I just don't.
18, 7, 8, and 18 are the
11.
three worst.
They're
Well,
all-
11.
They're just old bridges, and they've been there. I
All
don't
the
know how many
bridges are too
years, so.
small.
Have you fallen off any? Bill,
Knock on wood,
have you fallen off any of the bridges?
Well, I've come close a couple times.
knock on wood, we hadn't had any of that issues.
Well, certainly the condition of the bridges make you pay a whole lot more attention as you go over.
Yeah, everybody's always slowed down, you know, because they are narrow, everybody has always slowed down going across them, so I think that's one of the benefits of them being really narrow, people pay attention.
Well, and with the new carts, if you've got a cover on your cart, a winter cover on your cart, you can hardly get across a couple of them, without dragging the
Yeah,
doors on your cart, so
members
the
have,
carts just barely cross.
yeah, the members had, you know, all the newer carts are bigger, wider than they used to be, everything's gotten bigger, just like regular car vehicles, so it makes it a little tougher.
What would you like to see done in order?
My order, you know, well, it depends on how we can do things, you know, I know somebody mentioned one time that if we had some nice set of plans, that they could sell some bridges for us, maybe some of these companies. So if we had that, and that was a feasible way to go about it, having some of these companies sponsor a bridge and do that, then we could use our cash money, plus we have $25,000 worth of money that the Cherokee Nation has promised us
For,
for cart paths.
is that
So-
included in this?
No, that's not included
Okay.
in these numbers. So there's another 25,000 for that, so.
Was that specifically for the bridges though?
For cart
Cart
pass.
pass.
Yeah, specifically for the cart pass. So
Okay.
ideally, if things would go good, somebody could sell some bridges and then we could, use our money for cart pass, that would be the best thing for us.
All I need is plans.
That's, yeah, so that's why all we need is, and I thought I had some plans, but our city engineer, he kinda just up and left and we couldn't, I never found out the other day what happened to him, but we still have that same company, is that right, Mayor?
Dale, we can reach out to Dale. and
Right.
take care of that.
And so hopefully he can still get those plans and, so he quoted me about $1,700 for plans, so if we can get some plans for those bridges and we get them sold, that would be a huge burden off of us. And we could use our money for asphalt. And I'm trying to find out how much that's cost. I've been working on that for about a week just to find out really how much that would cost to, how far asphalt's gonna go. If you have $125,000, how far will that go on buying and laying asphalt? So,
So do we need any sort of, action on our part to recommend him? It sounds like we just need to get the plans first. And,
Find out how much that's
find
gonna
out-
cost, the bridges.
find out what that's at, see what Riley and his class could do to help build them.
yep.
And then, so do we need a motion for action, or just say, let's go for plans and you guys can do that?
I think I'd prefer the mayor would like to do.
We'll do that, let's go for, I recommend you guys go for the plans. Talk to Dale, see what he can draw up, see what we got cost.
Okay.
So recommendations for, to get plans drawn up for a bridge.
And they'll all be different.
Yeah, they're different. The width, they can all be basically the same,
Same
just
width.
a little bit different lengths is all.
Yeah.
And I have all those lengths right here that I'd sent to him,
Okay.
so, not too much difference in the bridges, really. It's,
So we'll have
just a little-
plans and estimates, we'll know what we're dealing with financially.
Right, once we get plans, then you'll give them to VOTEC for estimates, is that how that's gonna work?
Yeah, we would have to, once we have the plans, then we could figure out a cost on the materials, and then get with the VOTEC, see how many they're willing to build. But, most of them, the two long ones are 67 feet and 62 feet, that's on 8 and 2, and the rest of them is about 45 feet, so.
Does the city engineer offer any help with this and?
That's who Dale is,
That's who it will go through.
so we're not using Steve Powell anymore.
I had sent
You're not, okay.
all this information to Steve once already, and so, kinda, I guess that's when he's on his way out, so.
Was there somebody at a metal fabrication place that had done a set of plans or looked at costs on those bridges? Did I hear that?
No, Elite Fabricators, the only thing I've heard about that is Elite said that they would help us build them
Okay.
if we bought the materials. And they've been very helpful with us out there in the past.
So Bill, we need to make a motion then?
Make the motion?
Make a motion then that we, go out to get plans, so we know what material and estimates are for bridges on golf course.
Well, the item is to recommend to council, action regarding budgeting excess funds for the different purposes, one being the cart pass and other capital improvements. So that's really the budget, the item.
And let's
on
make
here.
a
So-
motion that way then.
So you would
Make the motion.
make that motion?
Yep.
Or-
That
Or
there's
second
excess
the
funds for capital improvements.
Yes.
I
Okay.
guess my question is, are y'all
Yeah.
good with the kind of numbers I said? Keep 100,000 in the deal, and we've got excess of 150 to use that for capital improvements? And that way, you want to give you something to budget on the budget? And then we can.
Do we feel 100,000?
I mean, we've come a long way from back when every January and February we were broke.
Yeah,
Right, Chris?
yeah, that is true. So you're saying basically you're gonna set up a reserve of $100,000 to retain in there for get into some negative cash flows and things.
Guess things get a little,
Yeah. And then, so you're gonna take the excess, and that's just the way it's always, pretty much always been, as far as I know, that whatever's generated by the golf course is retained by the golf course and used to fund future capital improvements, and when we had that opportunity. A lot of times just fund operations, but
right. But kind of what I'm hearing here, if we take the extra 150,000, put it in our capital improvements fund, we'll spend 1,700 or 2,000, whatever it takes to get some plans. Then we can come up with some good estimates on bridges, figure out a direction on bridges, and then, you know, I need a pickup truck. That one's really getting bad, so I don't know how much longer it's gonna last. It's got 250,000 miles on it. Probably got more miles than any vehicle in the city. So, but anyway, and then whatever, however we use, basically maybe 100,000, whether it's for buying some bridge material or being able to do some cart pass, you know, what we need to figure out.
so it sounds like it might be helpful if you just developed a prioritized list of capital improvements, the order in which you wanna do them, with some ballpark estimates.
Right, once I can say, hey.
See how far the money's gonna go.
Right.
Okay.
Got a motion, is there a second? Did I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second. More discussion? Hearing none, I'd call for a roll call vote, please.
Kenny Geezer,
Yes.
Riser,
Reeser?
Reeser, I'm sorry.
That's all. It's okay. I get called that all the time. Yes.
Or worse.
Buffington,
Or worse.
Jackson,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Graves,
Yes,
Shelby.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
Item number 6, report and discussion regarding the pool task force.
There's gonna be two of us for this, so beat him up. So, I'm Adam Anderson with the EDTA. This is Mike with the Rec Center. I think you guys know him. This is my first time here. Mayor Doyle asked us to, the EDTA being the us, to look into forming a task force about building a new pool in Pryor. And the reason going through the EDTA was we didn't have anything involved in this process, other than trying to help with the funding piece. It is not something that the EDTA already had. It's not something like the rec center where, you know, if you put the pool or the park board in charge of it, or you put the rec center in charge of it, it kind of signals that there's some predetermined plans for this. And that is not what Mayor Doyle wanted out of this task force. It was to listen to all of the options, all of the thoughts and ideas from boards, from committees, from individuals, to come up with a plan. So what Mike and I have come up with and the EDTA approved was a task force made up of 2 members of the EDTA, and that will be myself and Don Barger, 2 members from the Park Board, which is what we're here to discuss with you tonight, 2 members from the Rec Center, which that meeting will be on the 31st, 1 member with Frank with the Park, and 3 users or 3 community reps that Mayor Doyle will appoint, the Rec Center Director and the Rec Center Aquatics Director, or Coordinator. Our plan is to be pretty aggressive with timeline. First meeting would be August 3rd. That's kind of the reason to ask you to get that done now. Compiling a list of desired elements with the committee and public engagement, using surveys, using some in-person community forums to get people to tell us what they want to see in a pool. And then importantly, coming up during this with a funding plan from private dollars, grants, and public dollars. We're hoping it will be less on the public dollars and more on private funding and grants. Our plan is to start drawing construction documents in mid-2024 or to have those completed, which would refine the concept into an actual base survey. Design company would compile a 65% set of drawings and specifications, update the cost estimates, and get final review from the city of Pryor for the pool plan. Of course, taking into account public feedback. Building phase, we're looking at beginning that, if this all works out, at the end of 2024. And then construction complete at the end of 2025, and pool opening target date of spring of 2026. And we do know that's a pretty aggressive timeline. We know that's coming up with some big pieces that have been left out, and what we feel is different this time is having the funding piece built into the task force, and how is this thing going to be funded as we go through. Mike, I don't know if you want to add anything in?
Yeah, we just come up with a tentative outline, just trying to touch all the groups in town that, would be interested in being involved in what we're doing. They've asked me to be the chair, as I mentioned, and, so we're trying to get everybody together, and, we don't really have a starting point other than we'd like to have a pool, right? That's kind of the goal, is to have a city pool, aquatics park of some sort. And so that group would be charged with, forging that path and trying to figure out what the community and the region, our region here would like to see. So, yeah, we're just anxious to really get going and see what we can do, so.
I will add that the mayor and Jared Crisp with MUB will be on there as ex officios. And as Mr. Allward back there pointed out, we have 12 members on there, so we're not expecting any divided votes that somebody's gonna have to split the tie. We're planning on this to be a consensus building group and really help incorporate everything that we can into what the citizens want. So that's kind of our pitch. If you have any questions for us,
I do have a question. You were talking about a design phase, so does that mean we're scrapping what we just paid for to have that pool designed and all that?
We will, and I talked with Bill about this, we will take that and incorporate it, the pieces that we can, into what the citizens and funding will allow. So we're not scrapping anything, but we're not walking into a room saying, here's the plan, this has already been decided.
You'll take everybody.
Yes, and those plans were specifically for redoing the existing pool, and the task force may come up with something totally different.
I think there were a couple of sets. I think there was one that was for redoing
A
that.
brand new one.
And then one that was doing a brand new one on that exact same
You're right.
spot.
You're right.
Actually, in a different spot. And it was just very preliminary drawings. That was before we ever paid. They were very, very preliminary. And that's when it first came up to even put them in Whitaker Park for the volleyball court. And then it came up that we were against that. So it was gonna run north, south along Clay instead of east, west. So but they were very, very preliminary drawings. They weren't actually paid for that. We had never, once we went forward, then it was, to renovate, not new pool.
Well, I know our community's been wrestling with this a long time, and there's a lot of stories that go in with this, and we've got some people that have been involved deeply, they've been on this board for a long time, involved deeply with it, have a great background. And I think broadening this out and making it a community project as opposed to just dialogue between the park board and the city, I think that's a great strategy.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you don't have any other questions for us, we'll go sit down and you can move on to the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 7, discuss and possible approve appointment of 2 park board members to the pool task force. Chris has volunteered to be, I approached Chris if he would be interested, and he has agreed. He's worked on this for a couple of years now, and he's got a lot of knowledge and information about it, so he would be a fine addition to the group. And I'm looking for the second member.
Well, tenured-wise, Keith, you've been around a long time. I mean, you got a lot of background with some of this stuff that's been going on here, and I don't know tenured-wise up here
I
at the park
approached
board.
Pam, and she hadn't decided yet.
Okay, see, so I'm cutting you short then,
No, you're
because
not. No,
I'm just
I mean,
thinking of
it's-
the tenured people here that
Yeah.
have been in
Involved
the war
it.
zone for a long time, that might bring a lot of expertise to this.
If you want to do it, Pam, do it. If not, I'll be more than glad to.
You probably have well, you do have a lot more experience at it, so.
That's fine. I'll be more than glad to sit on it then.
You volunteering?
Sure.
Okay, Chris would volunteer to be the second one, or,
Chris and Keith.
Keith would volunteer to be the second one. Any problem with that? Well, I guess the park board needs to vote to approve that, so.
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Do we need a motion?
There's a motion over here.
You need a motion to appoint those two.
Okay, give me an emotion. You make a motion, we appoint two. All right, we got a second?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, be Chris and Keith for you. Item number 8, park report, Frank Powell.
I haven't really had a whole lot the last month or two, just between storms and rains, just either working with tree damage or trying to keep up with mowing. We haven't got the pickleball courts, they're, been installed and playable. I guess there has been a big use of them.
Yeah, so tonight at 7 o'clock, there's gonna be a group of people down there playing. I had so many last Monday night, I took some blue painter's tape and we actually taped off another court down there, and we just lowered the nets so that they're more like pickleball level nets. And so we had 18 people out there last Monday night, and I know there's a good group of people that come up early in the mornings, maybe even before you get to work and play. So they're getting used, and we're excited.
So, everything's been going good, splash pads, consistent, kind of, nothing against the pool, but kind of how the pool used to get, and it's getting so hot when people, splash pad actually slows down. Just, the parents, I think, don't want to sit out in the heat while their kids swim. So, but, other than that, we're just trying to keep up with the mowing and I had numbers for the cemetery that I've been showing up with, and I went off and forgot them. The first quarter of the year's actually been a little bit, I guess it's a good thing, kind of slower than it was last year. Last year was unfortunately a busy year, and I say that, and then the guy was telling me just like today, he sold like 20. He said he stayed in the office from 11 to 3:30. People were in, and part of it, he said that he admitted people have seen, like on the meetings when I report the numbers and that we're selling out, and part of it's we're getting a rush, people buying lots. But on that note, it's been unfortunately busy again the last few weeks. He did plot out all the sections that I was wanting to, like south of the shop. And so the next phase will be funding and cutting out in roads, and then they'll be ready to start selling. I think it came up it's preliminary because they plot the whole shebang, but we'll put in like planter areas and stuff like that. But it included like 1,800 lots. So that'll give us a few years, and then so in the next few years I'm gonna have to go back and we're gonna have to look at opening that North Fairview that it's already plotted, and that was gonna be drainage and roads there. But it's just life, I guess. It's just, but gonna have to start looking at doing eventually more and more land. But like I said, I had the numbers, and when I first brought numbers a year or two ago, we had like 7 years left, and I think now it's down to like 4 at the pace we're going.
Lord.
Yeah, but like I said, there's not much you can do about it. But anyway, I don't have the actual revenue funds with me. I said, went off and forgot it. But other than that, just doing our summer routine.
Did we lose a lot of trees in the park?
We didn't actually lose
I know there was
many
a
trees,
couple that
a lot
did,
of-
but,
a lot of limbs.
yeah.
There have been some trees that we got to take out. Centennial's got 2 or 3 dead ones. we always call it historical tree there at the park. The one that's between the volleyball court and the pond, it's been there forever, split. Soon as we get time, we decide that one needs to come out.
But we didn't get any storm damage anywhere.
Just said a lot of actual, no trees themselves. Now cemetery lost a couple of trees.
But no structural damage
Oh,
anywhere.
no, nothing like that. But
That's-
they were, some of the bigger stuff was down along the creek, you know, north of the splash pad. Or it fell just in the open area.
And they got the pool house redone. I
Yeah,
noticed.
the pool's completed, yeah, they done a good job with it. Yeah, been inside, it looks good.
I noticed Bobby Buck's being used a lot more too.
what's
A
that?
lot more people going over there to that shelter. and stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, I will apologize, we had them arches built for the one at Centennial, but it seemed like things just started hitting, and we started getting in the routines, and as I got the 4 arches built, once we just get 2 or 3 good days, you know, we could have that one put up where that pergola was. But, other than that, things looking to be a real tight budget this year, so this will be one of those years, not too many additions, just try to keep everything maintained, pretty much. Like I said, when school starts, is when I change the hours of the splash pad.
The August 10th,
Yeah, I'll look that up. And
that's what it is,
usually
something like that.
stays open, yeah, kinda, we go from like 10 to 8 to 1 to 7 or 2 to 7, I don't remember. But, other than that, I mean, still fight some homeless, but man, afraid to even say it, haven't had much vandalism, you know, like what we used to. I mean, you got some almost there, but nothing bad, you know, no damage. Yeah,
I haven't saw as many up there at the park as our main park, staying in
Yeah.
that shelter.
And like I said, the police, they do their best to, you know, for a year or 2 now, they try the night shift, swings by and locks them up for us.
You know, I think having the police and fire right over here has probably helped tremendously through that area.
Yeah. And you can tell when they don't, I mean, so they check every, I mean, the one night they don't lock them, usually there's, you know, when they show up the next morning, there's someone camped out in there, you know. But anyway, so yeah, for the most part, things are going pretty well, just keeping up with the mowing. You know, in July, not used to mowing like this, 100 degrees and all the rain. Yeah, but other than that, we got a weed, I actually had summer kids from the cemetery come today and hand pull this thing. It started at the ball fields, and I don't know if you, I hope you don't get it out there. It started at the ball fields, and now then it went around the tennis court area, and it'll grow like a bush. And I mean, if you don't jump on it quick, it takes off. And I've been to show online, we have a hard time killing it. And I think as it grows, it might be one of those seeds, and it's spreading. But most of it's where we've sprayed, you know, like in fence lines or down the creek banks. And if you go it'll pull relatively easy. If it gets too tall, like a stall, then it breaks. But yeah, I actually had them bring the kids from the cemetery today, hand pull the whole tennis court creek out. And I'm trying to get it out of there. I'm hoping maybe that, you know, instead,
Kill it.
yeah, but we'll see. But, yeah, hopefully you don't get this stuff right there. We don't know where it came from. God, it's hard to get rid of. But, anyway, other than that, that's about all.
Anything else for Frank? Thank you, Frank. Item number 9, unforeseeable business.
I didn't get my golf course report.
Huh?
I didn't give a golf course report.
Well, she didn't have you down for a golf report. Come give it. Give us your golf report under unforeseeable business.
So, I'll keep it short. And,
of course, like I told everybody, golf course is just doing really well. One of the biggest reasons why we're doing so good is the area golf courses aren't in good shape. Clarimore's in pretty rough shape. Bailey Ranch, they had to shut down to actually re-sod and sprig some of their places. And so anyway, it's, you know, we're just thankful we're in good shape, because there could be a time where if that happens to us, where you lose a lot of grass, can't do anything about it. But we had the storm damage. That's one of the biggest things I want to touch on. You know, it hit us Wednesday out there at the golf course. What was it, the 15th or something like that? But it hit on Wednesday, and we cleaned it up good enough to play. And then here it come on Father's Day, or that Saturday night, and we lost a lot of trees. We had, I think I counted about 32 trees that were complete trees gone, uprooted. I mean, you know, so we spent a lot of time cleaning those up. But Johnny Jensen was emergency management. He come out and helped get us, you know, on our little plan, just like we have done, hoping that FEMA would pay for it. And I think FEMA, FEMA is going to help take care of some of that. And we got he got us a burn permit where we had it, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years ago, same place. So we have a burn permit to burn all of our brush. The biggest help we're going to need is we've got it all piled up out of the way, but I don't have any equipment to get it from where it's at to the burn pile. So I was thinking, mission to the mayor, maybe we can get, you know, some help out there to just transport it to the burn pile so it can be burned in the right location. So that's the biggest thing we're going to have to do there. We have a lot of tournaments. We've had a lot. We have quite a few on the books. The next one that we're having right now is the Freedom Flight Tournament, and so that's August 26th. They'll be giving away a new car for a hole-in-one, a lot of good prizes. I think it's going to be a big event. We're doing a little Hawaiian theme this year, so I think that's going to be fun. And we're even actually trying to see if we can find somebody to cook a pig, maybe put a pig in the ground, you know, and do it that way. It'd be something different. So if you know of anybody, sure send them our way. We'll see what we can make happen. We'll make it special, so it'd be really fun, something unique and different. We've got a lot of tournaments booked this fall. September and October is just getting really crazy. It's, you know, every Friday, every Saturday, some on Sundays. So just a lot's going to happen this fall. Golf course is in great shape, so we're getting lots of new members, and just couldn't hardly ask for it to go much better right now. If we just keep it going that way and increase it just a little bit more, we'll have it made. Any questions?
You had somebody that got too hot yesterday, correct?
Yes, yeah, we did have.
Everything turned out all right with him?
As far as we know, yeah. Everything turned out good. Yeah, Heat got an older gentleman yesterday, so.
It was hot.
Yeah.
And then the week before, you had several golf carts that went down Sunday before when I was out there.
Yeah, we had a couple of them, yeah. We got all those
But
fixed.
good Lord, we was out there and your parking lot was full on both sides.
It's been,
I would, you know, whenever we're talking about money to spend, I would think that parking, we really need to address that here.
well, that's in our plans for not just cart pass only, but the parking lot also. That is in those plans.
Expand it somewhere and.
Right. And, yeah. And on the cart, on the carts, I don't know if you've noticed, but some of them, the seats are getting torn a little bit. So, Yamaha has warranted that, and we're just waiting for the new seats to come.
Oh, awesome.
Replace all the seats because of that. So
Yeah.
that will really help. And I told them, we need to put that in writing, so they sent me an email, put that in writing for us, and, cause that's 50 seats, but yeah, Yamaha stepped up, took good care of that, so just
The group that was in front of us was actually from Muskogee
yeah.
yesterday, and then the weekend before, they were from Tulsa.
Tons of
And they said that they're just too hard to find any places to play, and it was better, and they like playing over here.
We're getting tons of that. I mean, they're coming from everywhere. And once the golfers, you know, start talking, and, you know, because some of these area courses, they don't want to go to them.
And your Lions Club did well Friday night, correct?
Oh, yeah, we did really good at the Lions Club, yeah. Had a great tournament with that. And, Yeah, had Jerry Cowan, Elite Fabricators, they stepped up and gave a $5,000 donation.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
That was a big, big donation, and, yeah, it went really good. Yep, had a lot of fun.
Are you having to limit your tournaments, Dennis? Does it interfere with your members?
You know, it can, so we're kinda right there on that edge right now. You know, I just don't really,
I wondered with those other courses down, if all those tournaments are coming in, if that's hurting your members.
yeah, usually when we have a tournament, like, for example, we have one from, on a Saturday morning from 8 to noon, 8 to 1, 1 o'clock, the course is open back up and everybody plays in the afternoon. So most of the time, sometimes they can't play on a Saturday morning, but they can play on the Saturday afternoon or Sunday, but, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
It's,
If you don't put a tournament there, then nobody
Right.
shows up. Your members aren't there and you're sitting there.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Any other questions?
Questions?
Please like us on Facebook. All the stuff we send out, like it, share it, send it out. It's crazy how it goes around, so do what y'all can do to help us.
Still getting new members.
Oh, yeah, I got 2 of them just this Sunday, Saturday. Got 2 new ones Saturday, so 3. Got 3 over the weekend, so new ones, so, and everybody else staying online, so.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Any other unforeseeable business? This being my last meeting, I would like to thank everybody that we've
Yeah, hold
worked
on.
with
I
for
didn't
the
know
last
about
23 years.
this. When did
This
this
is the end
occur?
of my term. My term's over.
Oh.
So, hopefully in the last 20-some years, we have got a couple things accomplished. But, I'd like to thank everybody for that.
Bill,
I thought it was April 1st or
We
something.
could have
when
thrown
you
a
said that.
party. We could
How
have
come we didn't
cake
know
or
that?
something.
yeah, how come we didn't know that? That's not
I
on the
guess
agenda.
we could just table all those comments, can't we?
Bill's actually been here longer than that, because my vivid memory, the first time I met Bill, he was standing in the back of the old city hall, holding a bunch of grass up over his head, saying, "When are you gonna mow this?" We said, "Well, we think we can do something to help fix that," and he ended up on this side of the table. We could do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a few superintendents ago, wasn't it?
That was a few superintendents ago.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
Well, thank you for your service.
Yes.
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Made, seconded,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, folks.
Okay. So,
I had no idea. We'd have had cake.
That's what the mayor meant.
I guess he's
got you
not
a cake.
reappointing, so we need
Well, okay, yeah, we can,
We need to